Hey, this is Nicholas with the Backyard TARDIS here with another trailer reaction. This time we're looking at Dune Part 2. I loved Dune. The Dune books are amazing, but I do feel like that first book has a very slow start, and then things get really crazy at the halfway point, and that's where that first movie left off. So we got an entire movie that was like the exposition story setup, and we haven't really gotten the story payoff yet, and that's going to be this next movie. So I think like people who went and saw the movie and they go, it's just really not my thing. It was slow. It was this, was that. Don't sleep on the second half of the movie because that's when all the good stuff in the book happens. That's just how it is. Like it's gonna be wild and crazy. And what's funny is I feel like it is going to be a lot harder to fit that second half of the movie and be as faithful as they were with the first half. Yes, that's the halfway point in the book, but I feel like a lot of what's happening in the book, it's that drawn out because you're getting a lot of the internal head dialogue, which you couldn't convey a lot of that in the movie. And that was kind of some of like the things, oh, well, it was missing this or missing that, was because there was so much of it is head thought exposition. There's less of that in the second half of the book and more action. So I find it like I'm a little concerned that like if it took them that long to get all the stuff where they were skipping most of it, I don't know how they're going to fit all that action into one other movie. I know they want to do a trilogy, but they want the third trilogy to be a complete whole other book. The sequel book. So we'll see here. But I am very much excited for this. So without further ado, let's get to watching this trailer.
This world is beyond cruelty.
He's a good actor.
We've been fighting the Argonauts for decades.
Good role for
My family's
Batista.
been fighting them for centuries.
For whoever that is.
They were massacred alongside my father.
Your father didn't believe in revenge. We believe in Fremen.
Only fight beside you.
Reload!
I love how like they get out like older weapons and they're like they wouldn't be so crazy. The Fremen are that crazy.
I won't be fighting for him. I'm fighting for my people.
You young pup.
Do you believe in
There's gonna be so much emotion in this.
Bitter sons. The prophet.
Oh yeah, giant worms. He's riding it.
Because all my visions lead to horror. Because you lose control. Because I gain it. Johnny, do you believe in me?
Paul Atreides is still alive.
Christopher Walken. I heard he was in this.
With
I
this
was
prophet.
interested to see how he would work.
Show me who you are. Your father was a weak man. Look who's back from the dead. Now do what must be done.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not how! I will love you as long as I breathe.
This prophecy is how they enslave us!
It's not a prophecy. It's a story.
I don't care what you believe. I believe.
Wadib! Wadib!
I am Paul Muad'Dib.
That's what that moment is. That's what that is.
Duke of Arrakis. Under the blessing of Santa!
He who can destroy a thing has the real control of it.
It's just going to be such an amazing movie. Okay, so some thoughts. One, beautiful. Also, I can see the touching moments. So I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room that I noticed that a number of people have been focusing on. And that is the character who plays MJ in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I don't find her to be a bad actress. I don't understand why everybody thinks she's like super beautiful. To me, she looks kind of I know she's older, but she passes as a teenager, and so she's not attractive to me. But I think she's going to be really good for this role because, you know, she's kind of tomboyish, she's rugged, and that's who that character is. You know, she is, you know, this wild woman he falls in love with, you know, that's part of living out. And I think it's going to be a really good role. And a lot of people, why is she pushed so heavily in this? She was barely in the first movie. Why was she pushed so heavily? Because she's extremely important to the book. And I'm curious to see about her daughter, how they're going to handle that in this. You know, her you know, baby that's born talking. Like, plus there's going to be some time skips that I don't know if they're. It doesn't look like they're handling the time skip in here. I mean, but they're doing the attack. But like everybody still looks the same age as they were in the last movie. So I wonder if they're going to use that as an excuse to say it wasn't that long and get rid of the whole baby plot line, which is important, but maybe, I don't know. There's lots of spoilers I could drop there from a book knowledge, but I think this is extremely cast well. And I think it's emotionally going to hit the points. And I think I'm like completely blanking on the actress's name, but she plays a lot of roles where she's like a sassy teen or a sassy young 20-something. And it is not done well to garner her to the audience, so to speak. And I mean, there will be some sassiness to this. I mean, he is the, you know, the city royalty boy, and she's the live off the land girl, and so there's going to be some of that there, and it's going to be kind of a almost like a Pocahontas type thing. Like, she finds him funny for his little failings and stuff, but there's a strength within him that allows him to rise above these individuals. It's very much, you know, just like the tale of somebody with, whether it be Native Americans, Africans in the East, you know, going from the civilized, being cast out of the civilized, going and learning from the natives of where he's cast out of, learning their principles, their ways, melding the two into something superior, and then taking that and becoming the hero of the story. It is a tale that has been told in all sorts of media. Like I said, you've got that in tales like Tarzan. You've got that in stuff like Pocahontas and numerous things about, you know, settlers and Indians learning to cohabit and tales like that. You've got that like The Last Samurai, where he goes to movies like that where they go to the East and they learn the ways of martial arts and this. There are just tons of these kind of stories, and this is just taking that story, putting it in the grand epicness of space. It's just such a good story, and it's very emotional, very impactful, and I feel like they've got the right actors set in place to deliver that emotion. And some of these actors who haven't been given that kind of role. Yes, this is a sci-fi role, but I feel like this is the sci-fi role that's gonna let them act. I feel like, you know, like Planet of the Apes was kind of like that, but sometimes when you're in a sci-fi movie, you know, like Star Wars. Star Wars, there's acting, but it's it's also cheesy acting in a little ways, because it's kind of a little bit of a family friendly, space opera that's, it is different. And not that there isn't great performances and stuff, but it's just, it hits differently. This to me feels like this is going to really show off these characters, and definitely compared to something that's superhero. Like, this is going to show these actors and actresses like true talent off, and it's going to put it on a scale to show people who are into the big blockbusters. It's going to give a taste of what they could do in these serious roles, and show that they are not just actors to be put in spandex and play that they really have, or be in a comedy. They really have serious chops if given the material. And that's one of the things I look forward to, because these books are so rich. And the first one did such a great job. Like, you compare Foundation. We did a trailer reaction to Foundation Season 2. Foundation had a lot of great production. It actually had some cool things that it introduced into the canon, but it was not faithful to the books. This did Dune, which is not as tricky as Foundation to capture, but it is harder than a lot of other stuff. And in the course of a movie, captured half a book near perfectly. Not perfectly, but near perfectly. And I feel like Foundation strayed so far off from the books, and it had a whole 8 episodes or whatever, So I feel like this is, and it also hasn't even made it through half a book. So to me, this just seems so superior, and it's why I have a lot of faith. And like I said, if you saw the first one and you seem like that was a real snooze fest, I don't think Dune is for me. That's because all the action, all the real, there was some there at the end, a little action, a little emotional points, but it was like a lot of buildup and then just a little blip at the end, and then it ended on a cliffhanger. The rest of this movie, there's going to be a little bit, his love story getting accepted by this tribe. Most of this is going to be pure action, emotions, things are happening. And I feel like for the story to work and have the impact, it needed that first half. But if you invest the time to go see the first half, do not miss out on this second half, because this second half is really where the story is. The rest of it is the setup. This is the story. And so if you walked away with that a little bit bored, it's because you needed this. And I think the biggest fault of this film is they didn't wait until the second half was filmed, and they didn't release it one at the beginning of the year and one at the end of the year, or at least exactly a year apart or something. The fact that these were so far apart, and then COVID happened and all that kind of stuff, really hurt this, because I feel like some of the desire to see the ending will have cooled off for people. Go watch this movie. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be probably my movie of the year. I am looking forward to this movie so much. With that, let me know what you thought down in the comment sections below, and I will catch you in the next video.